Alright, I'm just making a quick video here to talk about governors. This particular application is a 350 turbo. Should be all the same information for a 400 turbo, 350 turbo, and 700 R4 and 4L60 non-E, so non-electronic. But basically what I'm after and what I'm doing and what I've already done is to make my shift points later at wide open throttle. And how you do that is, if you look, tip this just right, you can see this weight I'm moving with my finger. Normally these weights are more square, and what you do, or what I've done, is I've ground this weight down to lighten it up. You see I've kind of taken it and ground it on an angle so it's missing a chunk right, see if this will zoom in, right at that far corner right there, or near corner. And then I did kind of the equal and opposite on this side to keep it balanced, is ground down right there. So removed equal weight off of both sides. That will delay the shift, so it'll make the shift later in the RPM range. Now, how much later? That's where this thing is going to be trial and error. So I just ground off a decent amount and made sure it was equal off both sides. I just measured it. I didn't weigh it. The most accurate way would be to weigh these both before and after and make sure you take off the equal amount. But you can see for wide open throttle, it is grinding down these inner weights, the weight that's moving right now. That's how you make your shift points later in the RPM, is to make these lighter. If you wanted the shift points to be earlier at wide open throttle, you would make these weights heavier. And they sell a bunch of different weight combinations, but in my mind, if you want them later in the RPM, well, you already have the weights you need. You just got to make them lighter, because that's all you're going to do is change to wider or lighter weights here. So yeah, that's what I've done. I took this all apart, I cleaned it up. You can buy, and I'd have to look at the box, I think it's like number 6 nails, and they're 2-inch long. That's what actually holds this together from the factory. And then I just took it to my vise, kind of right like this on the corner, and then took a punch and a hammer and just swedged that out just like factory. Now with doing that, the nails that you buy are just a little bit bigger than the hole. So I had to enlarge these holes with a drill bit. The drill bit was like 103 thousandths. I can't remember what size drill bit that came out to. But it's just a standard drill bit. So I drilled these out and just used regular nails. Got some sitting in here. They're just regular, like, finished nails. And you can see I lightened up the weight there. Again, what that's going to do is just make that shift higher in the RPM for both first and second, and that's what I'm after. I'll kind of let you guys know once I get this in how much later it actually is. I'm a little bit foggy on the exact RPM mine was, but I think it was, like I said, like 5,200 RPM out of the 1-2 shift and like 4,900 to 5,000 on the 2-3 shift. So I'm trying to get about 500 more RPM. So I'll report back on how much more RPM I got out of this, but I just wanted to explain kind of how that works. Now, the other side of it is, from what I read, and I can't say if this is perfectly accurate, is changing the springs themselves really just helps with the part throttle around town shifting, not actually the wide open. I do want to play with that a little bit more, because I did change the springs, and I felt like it did definitely change the part throttle around town, but I'm not 100% for sure if that had no effect at wide open or if it did in fact raise wide open a little bit. So I'm going to do a little bit of testing, but really just wanted to show you guys how to take one of these governors apart, which how you do that is just break the end of this nail off. So take a pair of pliers, bend it back and forth, and then you'll have a sharp edge, grind that down with a file, pull that nail out, it pops apart. So that's how you take it apart, putting it back together. Just some traditional finish nails, knock the swedges out, and that's really about it. It's pretty straightforward, and if If you want to get your transmission to shift later, just grind down these weights here. Again, it's going to be trial and error, and that's what it's going to be in my application as well. Like I said, I'll report back and see how this goes. Unfortunately, it's not as simple as just loading a new tune for a later shift like you would in a 4L60E, where it's electronically controlled. But I like the old mechanical stuff, so I'm going to play with this, and I will get these shift points dialed in. Yeah, just wanted to show you guys. I didn't see a ton of information out there on this, and if you have any questions, just comment. And as I kind of learn more and play with this more, I'll kind of let you guys know kind of exactly how much I took off to get my 500 RPM increase. So I'll help you guys out any way I can. Thanks.